Hello, JJDL viewers. Skippy here, coach of the Steel City Surge, back after a very heartbreaking loss last week against John Jr. and the Portland Nightshaders. Very good match from last week. Taught me a lot about what I need to do going forward regarding how I need to play. I think it worked well for the most part. I kind of blundered a little bit here and there, but I think we played pretty well. And Terra Arboliva seems to be a very nice defensive pickup that we kind of needed. Going into this week, we are 0-3 with not a great differential, so playoff hopes are kind of dwindling at the moment, but we still have a couple of chances to try to pick ourselves up and try to make a run and turn the season around. So, this week we are going into a matchup against the Phoenix Incineroars. The coach is CJ. They have a very interesting and kind of scary team for this matchup that we have. They do have Terra Augerpond, so thankfully if it is brought, it can only be Terra Grass, which is very, very nice to know. The problem with that is it does get a speed boost from its Terra, so we got to keep an eye out for that. If Dusknoir shows up, it could be any Terra, but I don't see it coming a whole lot this week. I'm kind of weary about it though, just based off of 2 weeks ago when we had to go up against that Terra Bastiodon, and that ended up being the thing that did us in. So I'm a little bit concerned about it. Not like a whole lot concerned, but just like keeping an eye on it. If that makes any sense. I did see it a couple of times during mocks, but not a whole lot, enough to have me super worried, just enough to have me slightly worried. For the team that we are bringing this week, it's a very similar team from last week, except we do have Samurott Hisui in place of Venusaur. Venusaur is going to take the bench this week. I just think Samurott kind of deals a good bit with most of his team. Our stab types are not very well resisted by most of his mons, and we have Sacred Sword on there in case he does want to go Empoleon as a potential check, which is very, very nice because it pretty much just goes down in 2 Sacred Swords, which is very cool. The only checks to a Dark types, like a Ceaseless Edge or a Sucker Punch, like any switch-ins to a Ceaseless Edge, is probably going to be Overquill or Iron Valiant. Overquill could be a little annoying, especially since we are Terra Fairy Arboliva this week, but we can probably play around that at least a little bit. Kind of hoping it doesn't show up, but at the same time, I can definitely see it showing up. We're going to have to take care of that pretty quickly if that is the case. But in terms of the matchup for this week, as you can see down below, we do have some defensive checks that we need to take care of for Gouging Fire to be able to sweep this at potentially +2. If we can get to +2, we would outspeed a Scarf Latios and definitely outspeed a Booster Speed Iron Valiant, which is very likely to show up. We can set up on a number of different mons, potentially Talonflame, even though it is a technical defensive check for Gouging Fire. But we can get at least +2 with Dragon Dance there. If I do see Talonflame sitting in front of Gouging Fire, I may go for it. It depends on what is left in the back on his side. I may just go for a Flare Blitz and try to catch a Latios or an Iron Valiant switch in off guard, especially the Latios, because a Draco does kill us. It's more of a roll with the EV spread that we have, but I don't want to take any chances this week. In terms of potential checks for those mons that are listed there, Talonflame, Dawnfan, Dusknoir, Scarf Latios, and Booster Iron Valiant. The ways we're going to try to deal with those mons are listed below. We have Terra Fairy Arboliva, like I said before, for that Latios, and potentially Booster Energy Iron Valiant. Even Poison Jab is, I believe, a 2-hit KO after Poison with the current build that we have. And we KO Iron Valiant very easily with Terra Fairy Alluring Voice. We also 2-hit KO Latios depending on the build. We also have Giga Drain there for recovery, as well as to deal with Dawnfan and Empoleon. And we do have Leech Seed sub as a potential kind of setup. In a sense, setup on. We are running leftovers with it, as well as Seed Sower. Gouging Fire specifically is also running leftovers just because we need a little bit of longevity. I don't see rocks showing up a whole lot, and if they do show up, we do have Torkoal that can check that with a very interesting set. Obviously, Stealth Rock and Rapid Spin seems to be like a common theme on this mon, but we are also running Will-O-Wisp for the Dawnfan if he does decide to switch into that and try to get a Rapid Spin off. We are also running Ancient Power, so we can kind of check that Talonflame. There have been a couple of times during mocks where Torkoal got stuck in on Talonflame, and it didn't really have anything to hit because I was originally running Lava Plume. We're going to go away from that and try to catch it off guard with an Ancient Power. So that does 2-hit KO. Excuse me. That does 2-hit KO the Talonflame. So that's a very nice check that we have there. We are running specially defensive again to try to allow for a switch into Meloetta or a switch into Latios, potentially even Empoleon. It really depends. We can live a couple of hits from Augerpon if it is not boosted up with Swords Dance. We should be fine in that regard, though. Even a +1 speed, +2 attack Augerpon doesn't quite knock us out, and we can just Will-O-Wisp it right away. And hopefully we don't miss. I will bite my words I will eat my own words if we do miss another Will-O-Wisp. We missed quite a few during mocks. We have Landorus there for offensive pressure with U-turn, Rock Slide for the Talonflame, Sludge Wave hits pretty much everything outside of Empoleon or Terra Steel Duct Noir, and we also have Earth Power for both of those if they do decide to go Terra Steel on either one of them. So we are Choice Scarf with that. We do outspeed up to the Talonflame, everything that is not Scarfed or boosted speed. We do outspeed it, which is very, very nice. We are running an AV Hammerot with Aqua Cutter so that we are not running a Razor Shell just because of a potential Auger Punch switch in. And if we do get that defense drop, we are going to give them a free +2 for Defiant, which is not good, even with Sucker Punch being there. So that's why we're running that. So that kind of checks the Donphan. It does check pre-Terra Dusk Noir, as well as Talonflame potentially knocking him out with other Aqua Cutter. If we do get burned, that's going to be a pain, but we'll deal with it when it comes to that. And then we lastly have Azelf. And we are running Terra Ice with Ice Punch this week, more of a physical set, with Psycho Cut for Stab, Ice Punch for Terra Stab, and then U-Turn. We are Choice Scarf again, so we outspeed +1 Latios, and we can potentially KO with a Terra Ice Ice Punch. If I wanted to go that route, I am also running Explosion to catch something off guard. If Dusk Noir is Terra'd and it's not Ghost, something is going to take massive damage, and it's going to potentially take something down with it. That's the main play with it. That's the team for this week. Hopefully we do pretty well. We have a battle coming up soon for you guys with that. We are all set to go. Best of luck to CJ this week, and I'm really hoping we can get our first win of the season. And thank you, shout out to Kiroto Gods for helping with setup for this week with the build, and as well as others for mocks and such. I do appreciate all the help for this, and again, I do appreciate John Jr. with the option of being able to play in this league. I do very much appreciate it. So I'll go ahead and get ready for the battle here, and we'll see you then. Best of luck to CJ again, and peace.